Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a long overdue video where I want to discuss the records that I picked up in the month of July. Now I know that this is August 21st, I think, at the time of filming this. As many of you know, July was super busy for me. I got married, I was in Canada, and then just with moving everything, we're just now getting this room figured out with stuff. So this is the first real video that I have where you can actually see my records and everything, and hopefully once everything is set up, I'll do a room tour. But I have a lot of vinyl and a few CDs that I picked up in July. I'm obviously going to do an August video here in the next week and a half, but let's just jump into it. I do have some new records that came out. I have some used vinyl that I found. Like I said, some CDs. And then I've got some good, like, reissue stuff, some jazz, all sorts of stuff. So let's just go ahead and get the CDs out of the way. I did get this on vinyl as well. I did forget it upstairs, but I haven't listened to the vinyl yet, and I didn't want to bring it down here yet because at the moment, my turntable is upstairs in our home office. So it will eventually be moved down here, but the latest from the Wood Brothers Puff of Smoke, I did a review on this. This is the CD. Like I said, I've got the vinyl. Really, really good stuff. Check out my review. Another new album, Tyler Childers, his album Snipe Hunter. Tyler is kind of in the outlaw country world. Great musician. He plays guitar, fiddle, great songwriter, great voice. Just a really strong, raspy voice. He's definitely cut from the same cloth as, you know, your Waylands, your Merles, people like that. And this is a cool album, Snipe Hunter. Lots of different genres. There's some psychedelic country on here. There's straight ahead country music. There's like Americana. There's some outlaw. There's some rock. So it's all sorts of stuff on here. Snipe Hunter by Tyler Childers. I guess all these CDs are new releases. This is Stories the Crow Told Me. This is the first solo album by Ketch Secor of Old Crow Medicine Show. He's the lead singer and kind of band leader of Old Crow. This is an album that kind of traces his story of starting Old Crow and then becoming, you know, a member of the Grand Ole Opry with the band, and him kind of cutting his teeth in Nashville. He's got a couple of guest stars on here, including Marty Stewart. Molly Tuttle is on here, who is his girlfriend. And then two former members of Old Crow, Willie Watson and Critter Fuquay, are on here. But it's an interesting album. Do I love it? Not yet. There's good stuff on there. There's also some really, really weird stuff, like almost like hip hop bro country. But then he'll jump to like an Old Crow type song, which I love. But like two or three of these songs are just, it's a little too modern for me, but I'm glad to have it. This is a compilation that came out on Omnivore Records called Something There, Remembering Jeffrey Foskett. Now, if you don't know, Jeff was a touring member of the Beach Boys, I think starting in the 80s. And then he ended up switching to the Brian Wilson Band when Brian was kind of making a comeback during the Smile album in 2004. He was also with Brian a little bit before that as well. But Jeff was always somebody who was spoken of with high regard. For everybody who knew him, he sang a lot of the falsetto parts that Brian could no longer sing. Beautiful voice. So this is kind of a compilation of stuff that he did over the years, solo or in collaboration. Jeff unfortunately passed away a few years ago from cancer. But you got some great guest stars on here, including Brian Wilson. You do have one song that he does with Mike Love, but you can't really hear Mike, so it's fine. America, the group, Christopher Cross is on here, Jeff Larson, Gary Griffin, Low Straitjackets, who are Nick Lowe's backing band. But yeah, really, really solid stuff on here. They do some covers of old surf type songs. They do some old Beach Boys songs. They do other covers, some original stuff. Really, really good. If you like the Beach Boys, this is an absolute must. And it's a great tribute. And then lastly, I'm never ashamed to talk about these guys. This is Backstreet Boys Millennium 2.0. This is the 25th anniversary of their biggest album, Millennium. If you know the Backstreet Boys, this album that has Larger Than Life, I Want It That Way, Showed Me the Meaning of Being Lonely, The One. It's just chock full of hits. This is like a deluxe version. It's 2 CDs, so you've got the original album remastered on the disc 1. Disc 2 has some bonus tracks and a few live tracks. And that's a new cover. That's the Backstreet Boys today reenacting their cover from 1999. So Backstreet Boys fans, you need this. It's so cool. All right. Let me go ahead and just jump to the 2 new albums. Like I said, I already had the Wood Brothers. I didn't show that. That's upstairs. This is a great album. This is called A Tiger's Tale by Leroy Conroy. Now, Leroy is the alternate persona of Terry Cole, who is the founder and owner of Coal Mine Records. And this is his first true solo album. Really, really good stuff. It's instrumental stuff, soundtracky kind of stuff. Kind of like, wandering the streets at night, kind of, creepy kind of stuff. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's got some like soulful sounds, it's got some great horns in it. And this is the Coal Mine exclusive, so it comes on this really cool vinyl. I don't know if any of those are left. This was limited to 300, but this is great. A Tiger's Tale by Leroy Conroy. Check it out. The other new release, this is the album, The Cosmic Selector Volume 1 by Lord Huron. Those of you that know me know I love Lord Huron. Their album Long Lost was my favorite of 2021 or 2, whenever that came out. But this is the follow-up to that. Double record, which that's my complaint with Lord Huron records. This is kind of like a plum. It doesn't really show up as plum. My issue with Lord Huron records is they always make these on vinyl into double records, and they really don't need to be. So Lord Huron, if you're watching, please change your setup. But if you like Lord Huron, you'll love this. Fun fact, I received this the morning of my wedding, back in July. I listened to this before the wedding. So that was the last album I listened to before the wedding. So trivia facts for you. All right, let's jump into some used vinyl that I found. A few of these were at my store back where I was living. This is, I think this is $1 or $2 record. This is J.D. Crowe, The Model Church. Now, J.D. Crowe, obviously a great banjo player. Had J.D. Crowe in New South, which had Ricky Skaggs, Tony Rice, Jerry Douglas. This is a gospel record. You have your standards. The Model Church, Look for Me, Are You Lost in Sin, Oh Heaven. But you have Doyle Lawson on here, Larry Rice, who is Tony Rice's brother. Just a really, really good record, and a really cool record label on the Rebel label. I've never seen that before. So J.D. Crowe, great bluegrass album. I also picked this up at my store. This is one that I was missing, and I finally just bit the bullet and got it. This is 15 Big Ones by the Beach Boys. Obviously, I'm still kind of figuring out life after Brian Wilson. This is the album that had the big campaign of Brian's Back in 1976, where the Beach Boys are really pushing that Brian is back on tour. This is a mix of covers and some originals. There are some good songs on here. They do a version of Rock and Roll Music, which a lot of people really bash, and I'm not a big fan of it. The song It's Okay is pretty good. They do a version of Chapel of Love. What else is on here? TM song is kind of strange. Palisades Park they do. Susie Cincinnati is probably the best one on here. But It's Okay is also really, really good. Those are probably my 2 favorites. But yeah, it's on the Reprise / Brother Records label. But yeah, Beach Boys without Brian Johnston, which by Brian Johnston I mean Bruce Johnston. Brian Johnston was about ready to start joining AC/DC about 4 years later. But anyway, picked this up as well. Beautiful Vision by Van Morrison. This is one that I've always wanted on vinyl. It's my favorite Van Morrison album of the 80s for sure. sometimes it's my favorite Van Morrison album on the Warner label. Great record. I had it on CD, like I said, wanted it on vinyl. And yeah, check out the song. Cleaning Windows is on here. What's the other one that's on here? Dweller on the Threshold. Just great stuff. Beautiful Vision by Van Morrison. And then two more. I also picked this up in the dollar section of my store back where I was. This is I Saw the Light with some help from my friends, Earl Scruggs with special guest. This is really good. You look at the cover of it, you just think it's like a straight-laced bluegrass album, like, boring if you don't like that kind of stuff. But if you turn it over, which I happen to do, but I also know Earl Scruggs was more progressive than he appeared. You've got some great people on here. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band is on here. Linda Ronstadt is on here. Norman Blake. Vassar Clements, the fiddle player. Randy Scruggs. Gary Scruggs. But they do some great stuff. They do a version of some of Shelley's Blues by Michael Nesmith. They also do Propinquity by Michael Nesmith. I Saw the Light is the big song, obviously. Ring of Fire, they do a version of Rock, Salt, and Nails, which is fantastic. So this is really, really good if you like that progressive bluegrass stuff from the 70s. Plus, if you like, the Laurel Canyon kind of stuff, you do get Linda Ronstadt on here. Like California kind of country rock. But Earl Scruggs, really, really good. This one I have yet to open. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to open it or not. This is the self-titled by Roger McGuinn. As you know, I'm really collecting a lot of the Solo Birds projects. So pick this one up. It's $15, but it's got the old price sticker on there. I don't know any of the songs on here by name, but I'm sure I know what it sounds like because I've got a bunch of other McGuinn albums that I'll show next month that I picked up in August. So Roger McGuinn, glad to have it. Now for some reissues. This was put out kind of quietly by Old Crow Medicine Show. This is a reissue of their album Remedy, which at times is my favorite Old Crow record. This has the song Sweet Amarillo on it, which was a Bob Dylan demo that they added extra lyrics to. It is on this really cool wax. It's, again, 2-record set, kind of like Lord Huron. So it's a little frustrating that it's 2, but the vinyl is really cool. So there's both of the vinyl records. Good stuff on here. 8 Dogs, 8 Banjos. Like I said, Sweet Amarillo is a fantastic kind of waltz Bob Dylan tune. But my favorite song on here, other than Sweet Amarillo, is probably The Warden, which is sung by Gil Landry. As you remember, I just showed Catch Secor. There's Catch. This is from 2014. So cool to have this on vinyl. I'm glad Old Crow is reissuing this stuff. This is an album. This is funny. So this is still sealed. I got this about a week before I got married. This is Closer Than Together by the Avett Brothers. Now, this is a double record set that I picked up at the mall at a FYE store, which, for those of you that don't know, FYE stands for Your Entertainment. It has, now it's mostly a shop that has, like, Funko Pops and, like, posters and toys and stuff. But they also sell records. They used to really sell CDs big time. And they still sell vinyl records and CDs. And they also sell used vinyl record and CDs, which I didn't realize because I'd never go into FYE. But they were having some killer markdowns on stuff, or so I thought. So again, this is a double record. And you're looking through the stacks at FYE, and some of the stuff, you'll see, like, Tattoo You by the Rolling Stones, 2-record set. They've got it for like $60, and I'm like, good grief. And or they'll have like a more modern record by Sabrina Carpenter or somebody like that, $50. I'm thinking, for a 1 record, like, that's ridiculous. But they did have a few that were marked down, and this, as you can see, we're showing for $15. Double record set. I was like, there's no way this is $15. I'd already purchased other stuff. I was like, I can't warrant that. But then I was going on Amazon and looking $40, $45 for this record that's not, mass produced. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I go up to this front and the guy rings it up. It's showing up for like $62 or, whatever it is. And I was like, whoa, no, it's showing for 15. And he was like, oh, that was, marked down. That was a tag that was marked down that should have been fixed. But he was real quick to say, he's like, we'll charge you what's being said there. He took a picture of this so that he wouldn't get, that he wouldn't be given the boot from his manager. So I ended up with this record for $15. Very, very happy with that because of FYE's blunder. Hope my dude didn't get in trouble, but hey, I got the record, so, happy to have it. Next, we have a few jazz pieces here. As many of you know, I'm trying to collect all of the reissues of the Black Jazz series that are being put out by Real Gone Music. This is one that I found on Amazon. Real Gone had sold out, but Amazon still had a copy. This is Walter Bishop Jr.'s fourth cycle, Keeper of My Soul. Again, just funky kind of soul jazz stuff on that Black Jazz label there. Really, really good. I mean, I have not been disappointed yet with the Black Jazz titles. Yeah, I'm trying my best to get them all. I've missed a bunch and would really like to find some more. So if you know of where I can find some, please let me know. I would love to talk to you about it. Rhino Records was having a deal on some vinyl records. I can't remember why, but their hi-fis were on sale. They were like 20% off or so. So I picked up two. Ornette Coleman, Change of the Century. This is pretty easy listening stuff. It's not too wacky. I know Ornette would get a little wacky later on. But yeah, just really good. I only listened to it once, so I don't remember specifics. And like I said, it was a month and a half ago that I got this and listened to it. But I remember being like, okay, this is a pretty easy record to listen to. And yeah, this is the Rhino Hi-Fi number 3475 out of 5,000. So, for what that's worth, I've got it. And then another one, I got Ole Coltrane, John Coltrane. Happy to have this too. Again, the High Fidelity series is fantastic. And yeah, just 3 tracks, Ole, The Homie Dance, and Aisha. And this was number 2702 out of 5,000. So, happy to get those a little bit knocked off. My buddy Alex informed me about this from Beer and Vinyl. This was one of those weird Amazon flukes. I know he showed this in one of his recent videos. Amazon will go through their price drops, and a tone poet like this will end up being like $15. So happy to get this. Sonny Clark with Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. This was really, really good. Again, mastered by Kevin Gray. Yeah, just solid stuff. And again, like Alex said, he said it more eloquently than I will. I'm not seeking these records out, but when, Amazon drops something like this for $15 or so, and it's usually like a $34 record, you gotta get it. It's gonna be good. All right, I got a couple of other albums here. Sorry, I had to take my slipper off there. My foot fell asleep. There you go. New West Records, one of my favorite labels, was doing a clearance sale, really, really cheap. I got these 2 records for like $10. This is a tribute album to Nick Lowe called Low Country, the songs of Nick Lowe. I was afraid it was going to be really modern country, but it was more like Americana kind of tribute. You got some artists on here like Robert Ellis, Amanda Shires, Hayes Carl, Chatham County Line, Ron Sexsmith, who I really love, the Canadian singer-songwriter. But they do some lesser-known Lowe songs. It's one of my favorites, All Men Are Liars. Amanda Shires says, I love the sound of breaking glass. Lover Don't Go, When I Write the Book. So my buddy Randall Nelson, if you don't have this, you should get it. I think it's still fairly cheap. Picked up a Pokey LaFarge album I didn't have on vinyl, Rock Bottom Rhapsody, for about $10. Very happy to have this. I think this, no, I thought it was a pink vinyl, but anyway, cool picture of Pokey. This was from 2020. Since then, he's released 2 other records, so he's fairly prolific. But listen to the song "Lucky" sometimes. It's one of, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful songs of the last 10 years. Think Randy Newman, like orchestral stuff. It's just so good. Check out the song "Lucky" sometimes by Pokey LaFarge. It is beautiful. This I purchased thanks to my buddy Adam over at the channel What the Gym. Adam had a contest. I can't remember what it was, Adam. I'm sorry. And it ended up being like a $25 or $30 gift card. And I used it on this. This is Pete Townsend, All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes. This is the Half Speed Master by John Astley, excuse me. My buddy Tommy over at Tommy's Musical Adventures, this is his favorite Pete Townsend record. I listened to it once. Again, I'm happy to have it. I need to give it another spin. But again, I didn't really know any of these songs. I know some of these I think were leftover songs from The Who during the 80s, like Face Dances Part 2. Maybe somebody correct me. But I've been getting all of these too. I think I'm caught up with all the Pete Townsend half speeds. Definitely am with The Who. And 2 more. Sorry. This was also put out by Elektra Records. I want to say Rhino put this out. This is Super Drag, plays Regretfully Yours. My buddy Tommy said that I needed to get this. Power pop, just straight ahead rock and roll stuff. Really, really solid. This is like on like a, oh gosh, static, like a strawberry milk colored vinyl. So happy to have that. Again, I've only given these really just one listen. And then this was also from the New West sale. I didn't have it in order. Emily Nenny, On the Ranch. If you like traditional country singing, Emily is the person for you. She is so good. I saw her open for Mike Campbell in the Dirty Knobs a couple years ago. I really fell in love with her album Drive and Cry. So I'm just missing her first album now, but this is really good. Check out the song Matches. Check out the song Useless. Just solid country twang. It's really, really good. She's a good songwriter. Great personality, and I highly recommend this. On the Ranch from 2022. So, long video. That does it for me. Thank you all for sticking with me if you've stuck with me so far. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 2,000. And yeah, in terms of this series, I will see you very soon. I guess in a week and a half for my August finds. So thank you all for watching so much. I appreciate you. In the meantime, y'all be good. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.